relations for a entertainer bus company. Been there for over 24 years now. I'm also the author of a book called The Entertainer Bus Driver: An Inside Look. So if you're interested in getting into our world, I highly recommend that you buy that book or that you get that book to get some insight. I'm excited because we have a special guest, Ross Cassidy, who's been in this industry for quite some time and is going to give us some valuable insights and information. So let's waste no time. Everybody on board, buckle up and let's roll. So, guest introduction, Ross, tell us who you are and what you do.
So, as you said, my name is Ross Cassidy. I am the full seat driver for the band Lone Star, who has been together for 34 years, sold 10.5 million records worldwide with, I believe, 10 number one songs.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. So my big question would be, how the heck did you get into this industry? I know myself, I never thought, oh, I could be driving a bus for artists and stars. How did you fall into this?
I say that all the time. I was actually having this conversation with our drummer the other day, and I just said, never in my life would I have ever dreamed that I would be doing this. Long story short, I was in 2024. I lost my job as a general manager for a local charter company in the Tampa area,
Okay.
and a gentleman that I know really well since I started driving 16 years ago, Raymond Bakikio, Paul, used to
Oh, I
work
know
for
Paul.
Pioneer. Yep.
Hmm.
He's been doing it for at least 10 years, and he's trying and trying for the longest time to get me into it. And when I lost my job, he basically called me and was like, "Okay, come on, what have you got to lose?" And I got on with a company called Premier Transportation out of Nashville. Big shout out to Ken and Scott over there. They're great
Know them
guys,
all.
and they took a chance with me. And then I found out through the grapevine that Mark at the Eagles Nest
Hmm.
knows Dean Sams, who is the founding member of Lone Star, is also the tour manager. And he said, I got back from doing a political campaign with Premier and just kind of told Mark, I said, "Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do for work." And he said, "You ever heard of the band Lone Star?" I said, "Of course I have." And he said, "Well, they're looking for a driver. They're looking for someone good." And he goes, "I think it'd be right up your alley." And he gave me Dean's number, and I did a 5 day trip with them to the Northeast to kind of everyone feels each other out, and I was offered the full seat on the way back. So
What,
I was
what,
really go ahead.
I was going to say, what was the challenge of that? Because CDL Platinum is we're educating people that have commercial drivers and are interested into getting the concert touring segment. So I'm very curious how nervous you were when you when you first got behind the wheel, and how did you prepare for that very first run?
Pick the brains of people in the industry first and foremost, and
Yeah.
uh, I would say the biggest obstacle to overcome is you have to realize you're not driving like a truck, you're not driving like a regular charter bus. You got to be smooth with everything.
Mhm.
Stop smooth, accelerate smooth, make your turns, and that's I was more nervous than a long tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs my first time out, and
That's
luckily
awesome.
with really good positive feedback from Dean and the rest of the band, they said you're doing great, and that really
That's awesome.
eased my nerves. So just making sure you're keeping everything clean and being smooth is going to be that's the highest thing.
Well, and I also think, and I mentioned this in my initial podcast thing about that tour managers telling me how they want not only smooth and someone who take care of business, but they also want a good hang, a good person. Uh, do you see that too? Like you get along with the guys, they're like road family, etc.
100%. Dean and I actually, I was at Dean's house for Thanksgiving this last year. He was gracious enough to have me at his house and break bread with him, and I'm very blessed with that. Every morning, our bass player, Robbie, is always the first one up. So and I can always tell he's up because I can always smell the coffee coming from the front lounge. And then he'll walk up and I'll get a hand on my shoulder. He's like, "Morning." He's like, "Can I get you a cup of coffee?" And I said, "Robbie, I would love that, man. Thank you very much." And everyone kind of takes turns checking up on me. Hey, you need anything? Or it's and especially our drummer, we're huge fans of Jim Carrey, so we'll just send random text messages to each other about Dumb and Dumber or Ace Ventura or
Yeah.
something like that. So we really are a big family out there, and
And
that's important because it helps pass the time.
I was going to say they care about you because they know you care about them just from your TCB and TCC.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So that I love that. So continue. You did this first gig. You picked brains of veterans. You went out. You did the best you can. Did they give you constructive criticism or anything like that from the band, and etc.?
Well, the band didn't really give me the criticism because it's, like I said, that's more the job of the anytime an entertainer driver is always going to work in conjunction with the tour manager. That's kind of more or less your boss on the road who's going to give
Hmm.
you the hot, what you can improve on, and everything is always a teaching moment.
Yeah.
So, and Dean was really good with that. He's like, "Hey, man, you're doing great. Just make sure you're focusing on this, this, and this." And it was very short, concise. You're doing good. Just keep it up on this, and remember what we talked about. And that was really good. And everyone showed a lot of grace and a lot of patience. And I've been with them for a year and a half.
Awesome. Tell me a little more about who you are. Like, say we go back to when you were 19 years old, and where'd you grow up? What were the lessons? What created Ross Cassidy? I'd like to know.
Oh man, I 19 years old. I obviously graduated high school. I was getting ready to join the Navy. I joined the Navy in 2006 when I was 20. Did 9 years. Went to Kuwait 2007, Afghanistan 2012. Learned a Definitely learned a lot about myself then, and got into the CBs, which is a construction battalion, and I ended up being
Right.
a vehicle licensing examiner for 2 units in
Wow.
the Navy,
That's
and
amazing.
just kind of I grew up around cars and trucks and all that stuff, and I always had the knack for it. So when I had the opportunity to get grandfathered in through the state of Florida and obtain my CDL without having to pay for it, I jumped at the opportunity, and I've been doing it for 16 years.
Wow. Yeah, you'd be a perfect driver on a multi-bus tour because you definitely probably have the tools. You know how to improvise, adapt, and overcome. I'm sure you are a great guy to have on like a 6-bus tour or 8-bus tour. Have you ever done the multi-bus tours?
I've never done a multi-bus tour, but it's all of it is going to be about communication and make sure like
Mhm.
you never leave someone behind. Always, share what you know, and more importantly, admit what you don't know.
Mhm.
One thing, and I keep going back to Dean because he's been such an amazing teacher, and he told me one time we burned out the slide motor on our bus because I
Mhm.
didn't know that when it's snowing outside and it's going to freeze, you don't put the slide out because you try to
Because
bring
it's
it in, that
going to
ice is
freeze.
gonna, yeah. And
Yeah.
we ended up burning the slide motor out, had to bring in the slide manually, and Dean was like, and he told me about that. He goes, "We're gonna need a slide motor," and I was profusely apologetic. He goes, "You don't know what you don't know, man." He goes, "And now you do." And that was it. Could have gone one of two ways. He could have been really upset with me and whatnot,
Yeah.
but he's like, "Hey, he didn't know." We tell him, and it's always a conversation you only have to have once,
Yeah.
because if it happens again, I obviously end up paying for it or whatever. So,
Right.
um, yeah.
What other stories? I love that because that was just a story with a tip for new drivers and veteran drivers. Don't put the slide out with if it's snowing and it melts and it freezes, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to get it in. What are the other? Give me a story or a tip, some similar to that.
Oh man, tips. Uh,
Yeah.
if you heard it or saw it, no, you didn't.
Yeah,
Keep the
okay.
keep the code, man. That's what I
Oh, yeah.
tell, it's
Yep.
loose lips sink ships out here.
Yeah. What it's like the Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's like,
The number one
you
rule
know.
about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club, right?
Ain't that the truth? So, how old is the bus that Lone Star is using? I take it they own it, right?
So yeah, the band owns the bus. It's a 2014 Prevost X3. It is a Florida coach build.
Okay.
And essentially, before I came along, Dean was really taking care of everything when it came to the bus. And now he has stepped back and I take care of everything. I don't even call him when it comes to things. So if I have to send the bus to Gary Sago, shout out to him, does all of our major engine work. He's a rock star. Or if I got to
Nice.
send it to Marco, yeah, or if I got to send it to the Eagles Nest with,
Yeah.
over there, I just tell them, if it's safety related, just do it. Don't even
Yeah.
like call me and let me know, but I'm not going to get Dean involved with stuff like that. If it's safety related and we need to do it. Because and we were very lucky. I don't know if you would call it lucky or whatever. We didn't have a single roadside breakdown last year at
Wow.
all.
Knock on wood.
So that's something to be proud of, and
Hmm.
I'm sure a lot of it has to do with luck. Some of it has to do with just being on top of things. But when you're entrusted with a multi-million dollar piece of equipment like that, it pays to really take pride in what you do because the bus is a reflection of you. So if it looks good, if it drives good and everything, it's gonna make your life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I give kudos to you for that record because it falls on you, like keeping up, taking care of the little things, maintenance, I preach good pre-trips. Like every time you go out, a pre-trip will save your butt, a good pre-trip. So it's kudos on you because you're taking care of that. A lot of drivers that work for companies, you're sending it to Lewis and you're doing a punch log, and then he's taking care of that, whereas someone who actually is committed and connected with the actual band that they own their own bus, it's all on you. you're
It
you're
is.
the entire department. You're the safety guy, you're the driver, you're the maintenance guy, you're logistically taking care of the appointments to get certain things done. That's all you, and kudos to you, especially with that record of no breakdowns. Knock on wood.
The writing is
That's
on the
great.
wall. It'll happen
No, no,
eventually, but
no,
I do what I can to prevent it. You can't prevent everything, and it's
no.
just do the
So
best you
this
can.
leads me into one thing. Since everything's falling on you, how do you balance home life like afterwards? Because it sounds like you'll do a tour, but then you're still working because you got to take care of all the little things of the bus and probably other logistics, etc. How do you balance that?
The best you can. No,
That's a short answer.
it's funny because I'm
Yeah.
actually I'm with you here at my home in St. Pete, Florida, and
Oh, nice.
I currently I have the bus with Mark over at the Eagles Nest. I wrote it up
Yeah.
for just a bunch of little things, nothing major,
Right.
but sometimes I have to force myself to just put my phone down and go, I can only control what I can control. And
Yeah.
I can't control whether our vendors or contractors are doing what they're supposed to do. And um I
Right.
just have to I have to do business with number one with people that I trust because if I can't trust you, I can't do business with you. And
Right.
so as far as balancing the personal life and the work life, um take advantage of the technology you have. I mean, do
Right.
FaceTime, call, set a schedule. Like if your wife is at home, girlfriend, whatever,
Yeah.
um, say, hey, let's go out to dinner, and they're like, well, how can we do that? Well, you can FaceTime, and you can go to a
Oh,
restaurant, and she can go to a restaurant, and you guys can FaceTime and have dinner together, and that's
never would have thought of that. What a brilliant creative idea. That's so
just
cool.
effort is everything. And the thing, and I'm gonna get a little deep with you here.
Yep.
uh you can chase money and you can get money back, and you only have a finite amount of time, and that is always a price you're going to pay when you're out here doing this. And
Yep.
understand that you are among the few that can do it. Now, how many entertainer drivers are there in this industry? Because I've had this conversation with someone the other day, because someone asked me and I said, I really don't know the answer to that.
North of 2,000.
Is it? I was thinking around 2000. I said, but I'm throwing a. It's just a kind of shot in the dark here. So
It's north of 2,000. We have approximately 1,800 actual entertainer buses that are DOT'd and licensed, and that includes the small ones too. So you're looking with co-drivers, etc. I would say it's slightly north of 2,000 is
okay.
my guess. And our industry is definitely starting to age out. We're getting a lot of older guys, that some guys in their 70s that are still driving. And that's why I created CDL Platinum, is to try and bring in youth, bring in people that are unaware that there's actually a lane of concert touring logistics, whether it's trucks or buses. So that's the whole idea of this CDL Platinum, to onboard drivers. It's a 30-day course that creates them at a, or gets their mindset at a higher level. And then when they finish the course, they can either take the trucking side and or the busing side, and then we go into details of your first gig and the
Yeah.
communication and all those nuances. So yeah, that gives you an idea on the number, but we're just growing because back in the day, artists made money off of album sales, and now it's just concert touring. So they have to get from A to B. And as well as I know, 2001, 2002, 2003, we were slammed. And I
Mhm.
think there's a slight correction happening in 2026, because I've noticed that the tours, uh, like the 100% tours leaving out, is in April, where it used to be like, 2 years ago or whatever, last year, they were rolling by end of January, February. But it's settled a little bit. But I can tell you the summer through till November is like a full flag racing. So it's cool. I love this industry. I love music. I love the people we deal with, and it's just great. And I love talking to you. And I actually love driving and miss being on the road sometimes, which I'll pick up some co-drives once in a while and help our drivers out. But
Well, I tried to.
yeah,
I tried to get you out here one time.
I know you did. You called me, and I was like, "Oh shit, I got this." That I had stuff going on, and if you're married, you got stuff going on. Trust me.
Oh, of
Um,
course. I know. I get it, man.
hey, here's one. So, in balancing the personal life, and we make pretty good money. Two things I want to know: how you save up and are smart with your money, and what your hobbies are, because I think those two kind of go together.
You want to save money? Eat at the venue. Eat at the venue before the runner takes you to the hotel.
Yeah.
They
And
have
make
no
sure the
problem
band
feeding you.
gives you after show food too.
The band is always thinking about others.
Yeah.
So I will all you they usually kind of know what my preferences are ahead of time.
Right.
They always make sure I got to have my diet Dr. Peppers on the bus, so there's always a case of that
Right.
in there. And eh, so I always have after show food. Don't order Uber Eats. Man, that adds up. That gets
Mm.
very expensive. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
have to. If you're running short
Hmm.
on time, you just bite the bullet. But
Right.
eat free when you can, and when you're home. Um,
Yep.
depending on what your financial situation is or whether you're just bored, side hustle, man. I know a lot of entertainer drivers, myself included. We'll do co-drives for other companies, or we got jobs here that we'll do. But I've kind of stepped back from doing a lot of co-drives and so on and so forth, just because my time is increasingly becoming more valuable. Um, so there is a shift in that. So just cut back on what you can live without. I mean, do you really need this or this or this? And when you
Yeah.
think about it, you're like, no, I'm good. I'd rather just enjoy my time and go without the extra stuff.
That is great advice. And I think I've mentioned that before about, uh, you know, living within your means and knowing that you can make it through like a month off or 2 months off, especially when we go through you're pushing till November or December, and then we know this industry gets quiet December, January, possibly February. That's 3 months that you better have a nest egg, unless you want to try and do a side hustle and try and keep it going. But you have to look after your mental health by taking time off. Go golf, go on a
Oh man,
fishing
yes.
excursion, you know, take some
Enjoy,
time for you. Yeah.
take, yeah. The only person that's going to take care of you is you. And I learned that in the military.
Yeah.
You can't rely, you can rely on people, but you can't be completely codependent on others. Dude, you
Yeah.
have to be, you have to be the change that you want to see and just do it. Go, I love my hobbies. I'm a pretty quiet guy.
Yeah.
When I can afford it, I like to, go. I'll hit the range and get some range therapy in, or
Yeah.
I'll I'll listen to a podcast. That's another good one when you're on the road. A good
Yeah.
podcast will definitely
Yeah.
get you through those long nights. That 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. when
Yeah.
you're fighting it. Yeah, that helps you out. Music, all that. But yeah, if focus on those hobbies, don't let them go.
Yeah. And you know what I've noticed? A lot of artists actually have artist hobbies, and the crew members will have whether they're taking up photography or they do historical adventures when they have a day off, etc. It really is about keeping in perpetual motion and keeping active. You don't want to be stagnant, and you don't want to get too far into your head. You got to go out there and expand and enjoy life. Take advantage, carpe diem. That's the way I
Yeah.
like to put it. Yeah, especially like with your military. Thanks for your service too, for that. Appreciate it. But you probably learned so much on how to take care of business doing that type of work.
Yeah, I want, the military will teach you a lot of things to do with your downtime.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, some of them were things that we got talked to about, but
Okay.
it's it's just kind of how you learn as you go. And I'm actually really close friends with. I'm not as close with the people that I knew in the military, with as many people in the military as I thought I was going to be, but
Mhm.
I'm very close with a few of them, and we talk all the time about how we just passed our time and so on and so forth. And I enjoy it. I miss it every single day, if I'm honest.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. You know, the thing that I miss a lot are the people, like the road family. When you
Hmm.
connect with those people, there really is a family denotion or um, what you call a feel of
Sure.
family with the rights. And then there are some tours where you really don't connect, but you still take care of business. You take care of what you need to do, and then you move on. It's that simple.
So it's funny you mentioned that because being with Lone Star, I really got to tell you, we have the greatest group, and
Mhm.
everyone from our guitar techs to everyone, we all get along, and
Oh,
we're just one cohesive family unit, and it's the
yeah.
only place that I've worked at where there's no drama, there's no nothing, and it's by
Yeah.
design.
Right.
We'd rather have someone that is really good and gets along with everyone that needs a little work than someone who's perfect at their job and gets along with nobody.
Right.
um
Yeah.
and it's
Almost goes
worked
back
out
to
very
what I
well.
said about the tour manager wanting someone that's a good hang. goes back
Yeah,
to that. Yeah.
100%. You
Yeah.
gotta understand, they're humans too.
Yeah.
And I've had there are conversations that, Dean likes to sit up in the buddy seat at night. He'll
Mm,
stay up for, he's usually the last one to go to bed,
yeah.
and he'll sit there and we'll just kind of sit and just talk about the world's problems, life and all that. And I
Yeah.
don't get into detail about the things we discuss because
Yep.
that's
That's good.
that's the code. Keep the code.
It's you and
Don't.
between you two.
And there are conversations that we've had that I will cherish for the rest of my life and I'll never forget. And I've
Awesome.
gotten some good fatherly advice from him and with everyone really. And it's I take it to heart. And if they didn't care, I wouldn't have those conversations would never take place. So being a family and being good with people is probably the because you it's of the utmost importance because you can refine skill, but it's hard to you either have the personality to be out here and do this or you
Hmm.
don't. You
Right.
got to have it. You have to have it in your heart, man.
Yeah. And that's what this CDL Platinum goes through. That the 30 days is really a filtration system while educating the students. But by the end, they'll know, do I want trucks? Do I want buses? Or do I want to just leave and go back to hauling for Schneider's or whatever? Because you're right. It's not for everyone, but for the ones that it is, it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
I'm very lucky to have done this, and like I said, going back to what I said earlier, I'm kind of part of the elite of the driving
Yep.
world, and
Yep.
I mean, where do you go from here?
Well, you go like me. You either go in the offices or you become semi-retired. You have bag, you will travel, but you spend most of your time golfing and talking to good friends
I don't
and
golf,
playing
man. I
your
gotta I
guitar.
gotta get into that.
Dude, come on. You're St. Pete's. I live on a golf course, so come visit. It's not
Yeah,
that
'cause
far.
you're what, 2 hours? You're like 2 hours
Probably
south of me,
two
right?
hours. Yeah. Well, you're St. Pete's. Probably an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, you're down there in God's waiting room. I forgot about that. with all with all the old people and the alligators
Yeah,
down there.
ain't that true? But I'm the young whippersnapper out of all those old
You always
golf
will.
waiting room people.
You are the young soul.
Yeah, I'm the Peter Pan. Well, we're rolling on to 30 minutes. Let's conclude this with one of your favorite tips that you learned from someone else.
One of my favorite tips that I learned from someone else, man. I don't know which one to pick because there's so many. I would say don't ever make an assumption. If there's a venue or a place that you've never been to, again,
Yep.
if you have an opportunity, utilize your technology. Go on Google Earth, go on, Street View and all that. I mean, get a good look at everything so you can get like that 1,000-foot view. Get the lay of the land because there's nothing worse than you go to a place and you're more or less caught with your pants down and then you having to think about it as you're trying to do it. It just adds another layer of complexity to a situation that is already not ideal.
I think
So,
what I could tie into that is have a mentor that you can talk to or call. Like the company that I work with, I created this thing called the Group Driver Leadership Group. It's
hmm
veteran leaders. And these guys have been in the business for years. And the knowledge that they have just on their thumb is like immense. So we pair them up or find someone like that you could call, especially another driver at 3 o'clock in the morning and pick their brain. And
oh, do I do that? We do. We all do it. I'll call. Ernest Monroe. Also,
oh,
Ernie's a
I
good
love
friend of mine.
Ernie.
He's good.
Ernie,
He's
our
good people. Him,
yeah.
Anthony Rivera. I mean, we
Oh,
all. Man, we go back all the way to
That's
our days doing charter buses, and Ernie, I'll call
nice.
him, and we'll just if I have a question about an air, I do call about airports because sometimes
Okay.
I got that list, but sometimes it's not up to date. So I'll
It
call and
isn't.
be like, "Hey man, I'm going to Phoenix. What do I do?" And
Yeah.
he'll just say, "Oh, you got to stay left. Don't go where it says oversized vehicles." Because I did that one time.
Right.
And it's 12-foot clearance where it says oversized vehicle. So it's don't don't do that because you'll be backing down the
Yeah.
street.
That is a valuable site on Facebook, the bus group, and we have
The bus
our
friendly
own,
airports.
yeah, bus friendly airports
Yep.
on Facebook, but we have our own list that's active and can be updated because I just had a Zoom call with our management and we were talking and the group leaders and we were talking about that about it not being so updated and things change and there's construction in airports and you may not be exactly what you found it was saying. So staying on top of that is extremely important. It goes back to what you were saying about using technology, at yeah, using it as a tool to assist you in what you're doing.
I, don't become too reliant on technology. Sometimes you just have to go with
Yep.
your intuition and your gut. If it
Good point.
doesn't feel right, just
Hmm.
stop. Just stop because you
Yeah.
can you can justify a delay, but you can't really justify damage because you
Right.
felt like you were in a hurry or whatever. If you got someone barking in your ear and just something doesn't feel right, just you're the captain of your ship, man,
Yeah.
and you are personally responsible for anything that happens to that bus, on that bus, whatever. And so sometimes you just got to go with your gut, and yeah,
Unless you went to
that's
Taco
pretty important.
Bell and you ate a bad burrito.
So
Oh,
we've all been there sometimes.
when's the
You
next
get that
rest
you'll
area?
get that call at 3 in the morning, and it's someone from the bunks, and they're like, "Hey man, we got to stop." And we're like, "Okay."
Yeah. And you're totally in the flow too. It's like,
I
man, this is like rolling along. It's great.
I'm just going listen to my podcast, and you call me at the worst time. Now I gotta find a place for us to
Yeah,
pull over, and try
yeah,
finding one at 3 in the morning. You're not
yeah.
gonna.
But you know what? You do it with a smile, and you let them see the good you. Even though your brain might be going, fuck, you just
We all
you
have
know,
man. We all have bad days. We're all entitled to them.
yeah,
Have I'm kind of spoiled in the sense that I have a personal relationship with everyone, so
mhm,
I know what I can get. I know the extra stuff I can get away with, and
right,
do I vent? Of course, dude. If
mhm,
I didn't vent, I would explode. So I mean, like
yeah,
I vent, and sometimes I don't want to say step out of bounds, but there are times where I'm like, it's just not today, man. Like,
yeah.
but.
But they know you
Uh,
like a brother. It's different. Like if, say, you went to a tour, you don't know anybody, and you're the first week into it. That's different.
You would never do that. You would never
Yeah,
do that. Yeah,
yeah. But if you know them and they're your road family, well, then they know you too. They know your
of
sense of
course.
humor and they know what you like to eat and what ticks you off. And they probably tick you off just because they know it ticks you off.
No, you know what? No one's perfect, man, but we
Yeah,
really, we just gel as a group, and
yeah,
that's probably the most important thing that makes it. It doesn't make it. That's not the only thing that makes it the easiest out there, but it is
right.
definitely very important. Get along with the people that you're with out there because you're gonna see them every day, and that's all you
Yeah.
have.
And it's what makes it worthwhile or at least takes the edge off from being not at home.
One hundred
You know,
percent.
yeah. So I get it. So, do you have children?
I don't have children now.
Okay. All
I'm
right, cool.
Uncle Ross to
Well,
like so many kids.
actually you do, but they ride a bus.
What's I take care of everyone like as if they were my kids. You
There you
know,
go. Yeah,
I
exactly.
I really do the best I can. I try to think of things before they're brought up to me, but
Mhm.
not everyone's Neville, man. We can't be the best at everything all the time.
Oh, dude, I'm not. I just try my hardest, but I always put fun when I'm trying it. Um, Anyways, I think we're good. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No,
No.
I mean, just
Okay.
if you're thinking about doing it, I
Yeah.
challenge you to really think about it, man, because it is a very, it's an industry unlike any other. And I would say if you
Yeah.
know somebody in the industry, pick their brain.
Mhm.
Learn from the old hats and stay away from the negativity, man, because there are people, misery loves company, and there are some miserable people in this industry. They they like to think that they've never been, a rookie driver before. They don't make mistakes and all that, and you have to take the new people under your wing
Mhm.
and show them what it's like and show them what to do, what not to do, and teach them your experiences. I have found that in so many industries that there are people that gatekeep. They don't want to
Mhm.
teach the new people the tricks of the trade and all this. It's like, why? You're making a bad name for yourself because
Yeah.
you're going to be looked at as you're not a team player.
Correct. Yeah. That's a very good point. So, as the bus stops and we pop the air brake, I want to thank everyone for joining us. A big thank you for Ross Cassidy for coming in and sharing his story while we roll down the road in this podcast. If you're interested in this industry, the Entertainer Bus Driver Inside Look is available on Amazon, and it's also in audio format. Uh, like, subscribe, share. We're going to have more of these. Ross, what's your next rollout?
I have a Deadhead to Phoenix that I'm leaving for on the 8th. The show's on the 11th, so
Okay,
plenty of time to get there.
awesome. Well, safe journeys, safe travels. Blessing to you and Lone Star, and that bus, knocking on wood, uh, keeps you all safe and
Yes.
rolls seamlessly in 2026.
Good
Thank you
Lord willing,
all.
and good Lord willing it will. And I really appreciate you having me as a guest. It's a
Thanks.
privilege, it's an honor, and I look forward to having
Agreed.
another phone conversation with you. So thanks, man. Thank you very much.
Anytime. Love you, my friend. Take
Love
care.
you too, buddy. Be safe.
All right.